Hello there, I wanted to show you these Vikings that I've just completed on these movement trays that I bought from Selweg. I spent all night last night, well not all night but quite a lot of last night, getting these movement trays ready because I'd finished the Vikings and I wanted to show them on the trays rather than individually, because setting them up that way would also take quite a long time. So I decided to do the trays and get them ready before I did this video, so here we go. So the idea is to have them as a shield wall or as a line, but of course you can move them around a bit more than that because they're modular. So if I just take you along the line here, these are the Emhar Vikings that I bought recently. I have got another set of these which I completed quite a few months ago, so they will complement that set. Just take you along. There you go, that's the front rank, and I was 2 archers short, but as I have another set of these, I should have enough to fill out a couple of stands of archers. If I decide to have archery units for my Vikings, I may intersperse the archers with the troops, but at least it gives you the option of having an archer unit there. So if I just show you some of the fancy work I've done on the shields. So these are all hand painted, there's no transfers on there, decals. Okay, I'll just do some side and shots from the rear as well, just so you see all round these figures. Okay, so here's some from the rear, so you get a better view of the shields that I've done there. So lots of bright colours there. The Vikings, of course, like the anglo-saxons, well probably more so the Vikings, were very keen on bright colours. They didn't live in a grey, black and white world with just browns and dull colours that we may imagine. They liked their finery. Okay, so there you have it. One complete set of Vikings. And what I've also just finished, I started on these a while back, but I've just been doing them in dribs and drabs. These are the Revel Normans, at least 8 of them. And again, I wanted to get 8 done before I started showing them off. They're okay. I wouldn't say these are a great set. I'm just going to go into my strelets shortly. I've got some fancy work to do on the shields, some of them, but they're okay. They're not brilliant sculpt wise, but they're passable. I think at least they're in proportion, which is not what you can say for the strelets ones, which I'll come on to, but not bad. I've got quite a few more of these to do, put another 30 or so, possibly more. But yeah, this is the first batch that I've done. of the Normans, and of course, as I've seen in my last video, there aren't any cavalry figures, which is a bit naff for Normans, which is why I've had to buy the Strelets. So there you go, that's the first batch of Normans for you. I think this guy with the axe here could actually be a Saxon Huskarl rather than a Norman, but I've just put him in here because he came in with a Norman set. But I think what I'll do is I'll add him to the Revel Saxons that I've got, because I think he's much more in fitting with their mode of fighting. So why on earth Revel decided to put him amongst the Normans is beyond me, because he's, to my mind, quite clearly a Saxons. The Normans did not fight with barded axes like this at all, so don't know what they were thinking of. Maybe they just threw him in to make up the numbers, but he should quite rightly be in amongst the Saxons, and that is where he is going to end up. Okay, there you go. I also finished these skirmisher bases, so this is where I will be putting the Norman archers and any javelin throwers that I have will go in there as well. You can see the paint still isn't dry yet, but I think they're coming out alright. And I've thrown in, because I've got these nice large spaces between the bases on these skirmish bases, there's room to put in plenty of tufts and even some large rocks. There you are. And once they've dried, I'll get my fine brush out and get rid of these stray bits of flock, but that's never going to go away, is it? Because flock just comes loose, so I'll try and get it all off. It should come off, but once I've started putting figures in, it'll just fill up again, so it's going to be a constant battle. I mean, this is why I've got these painted in raw umber, because I know some flock will come off, so it'll just leave muddy patches on these. So built-in obsolescence, really. And finally, on the movement stands, I've got all these finished now as well. So as one complete set of Emhar Vikings has ended up in that batch of bases. I've got all these as well, so that's at least another set of Vikings. 2, 3. Yeah. Well, ideally what I want is enough bases so I can have 2 complete armies. So I don't think I've got enough now for, or as yet, for 2 complete armies. So what I'm going to have to do is buy a few more of these, so I do have enough. Because I think it does look much better when they're actually in the bases. Which of course leads to the next problem, which is what to do with the cavalry. Because they're too big to fit on these round 2p coins. So what I was thinking of doing was making, or putting the Norman Knights on rectangular bases and building some movement trays for those, which will probably involve some thick card or foam board and some thick you know, those cook's batches, the really long ones that you can get. So I'll do a prototype of that, see how that's going to look, so that the cavalry, which I will do on I think I'll have 3 cavalry to a base, so it's going to be this size, same size as 3 of the infantry. Perhaps it might even fit into 2 if I make them the right size, or maybe 2.5 to be pedantic, so that you can have cavalry in column or cavalry in line. So it will be 3 cavalrymen per tray, but possibly even 4. But we'll see how I'll get on. I'll do some prototypes anyway and see how they're going to look. Okay. I've also chucked a few of the flowers on here just to make it slightly different each base. Okay, there you go. And what I've also continued doing, or got back to doing, is my windmill. So I've put on a vane at the back there. I did originally have this on 2 layers of cardboard, but it was warping far too much and just looked absolutely silly that I decided to go out and get some foam board instead, and that is working pretty well. Put a bit of filler on about 1/3 of it just to see if this was going to warp, and it looks perfectly alright to me, so I've shifted it to here. So we have this is going to be a pulley system for bringing up the corn, pulling down the flour that's been milled. These are doors that open, well, they're meant to open. They don't open now, but in theory they would be opening doors as the landing bay for the corn to be pulled in through the doors into the mill or dropped out of the mill. There's a little storage shed here where he'd keep his supplies, his grain and his corn obviously, and tools, whatever is needed, bits of wood for repairs. I'll just take you around the front. Okay, so looking at the front of the mill, I've got a little door here on the front, and as I showed you on a previous video, these vanes do turn around. I would demonstrate it now, but I haven't stuck the top section on yet because I've got to finish doing the pulley, and that's going to be extremely fiddly if the vanes and the roof are in the way. So I'll finish the pulley first, then I'll put the roof on, and then I'll finish the pulley first, then I'll do the base, I think, and then the last thing to put on will be the roof. That will definitely be the last thing to do, so that's that. Okay, so what's on the bench? Well, I've made a start on some more of the Norman foot infantry, a few more horses going around the back here. I've basically just done the faces and hands so far on most of these. Started doing the undercoat for the chain mail. Another completed Viking there, just needs spacing. So yeah, I should be painting those later today. I think I've got a couple more Normans added in there, Revel Normans added in there as well. Some horses that have just been PVA'd and stuck to the bottle tops. I'm just waiting for the PVA to dry so I can guess over those. Yeah, so lots of foot on the go there. Don't want to do too many in one go, so I've just done 45 Vikings in one go. And these are 4 horsemen that I've just completed. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse for the Anglo-Saxons. There's quite a lot of raised detail on their shields, which is quite handy. Much better than the Revel ones, I have to say, because at least you can pick it out better. And there's Odo of Bayer. He has actually got a club here, which I never noticed until I started painting him, so I kept the crucifix, so it looks quite effective. Just need to do a few more touches on these, like this guy who's carrying a hunting horn round his waist, and this white area here, this white point on the horse is for a shield, so I'll have to fit the figure on there, which will be Odo, and a few little touches just to be done on these. I think they need a wash on the saddles and the paraphernalia. They've got around the front, the red and the pink, white, red and the yellow bits here, so I've got to do that as well. Just a very thin brown wash, I think, just to pick out the detail, because you don't really see it very well on these at the moment. Let me just turn these around a little bit, just so you get a view. They're chunky, but nice to paint actually. Yeah. And I think he just needs a wash of black, maybe to bring out the detail a bit more on the leather armour that he's got on there. I've done him as leather rather than scale mail. And this one. Yep, there's sort of pluses and minuses with these guys. What I'm also going to do is the stirrups, which is why they're still on the spikes, because there's still a few little bits to do. But the detail on the armour is probably the best point of these figures, plus the, as I've already mentioned, the raised areas on the shields is good. The weapons are a bit naff, very crude, so maybe if you do think of doing these, you might want to trim them down a little bit. I don't know how you do that, maybe with a fine sand, or even replace the weapons altogether with something. But I'm painting them as they are, just to show you what they're like. And this last guy, here we go. Quite like the effect on the shield of a sort of like a comet or a star or a sunburst on there. Again, I've got to do the stirrups and a wash on him. But yeah, quite nice and very nice to paint, very easy to paint. Okay, that's my update. Oh, I've got a couple of Norman archers here, let me just bring those down. So you can see he's pulling out an arrow from his quiver. This is one of the Revel guys, and I think this pose is quite a nice one. Should fit in with the Strelitz, because he is a bit chunkier than most of the other ones. Nice detail on the armour. This one. Notice these aren't on 2p coins because they've got to fit into the skirmisher bases. So here we go, there's this guy. Very much a Hastings pose there, firing upwards. Be quite nice to have a few more of those. I think some of the ones on the Strelitz set are firing upwards, so in fact I'm certain they are. There you go. Alright. There you are then. So that's what I've been up to, and I'll be getting on with these lot this week. So hopefully lots more Normans to join in. I've still got quite a lot of them left as well, but I've only got so much room on this bench. Okay guys and girls, thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back with a video probably at the end of the week. Okay, take care, and thanks for watching.